Alright, next we're going to look at doing text wrap in InDesign, but you can also do irregular text wraps, and in order to do those we need to start out in Photoshop. So I'm in Photoshop right now and I have this photograph here, and what I want to do is in InDesign I want to do text that wraps around the shape of this alligator's head. Well, I have to prepare the image in Photoshop before I'm going to be able to do that. So probably the quickest way in Photoshop is to use the quick selection tool and just kind of click and then hold down the shift key and click some more background like this. And once I get down here, it's going to get into the, no, that's actually working pretty well. It might get into the snout a little bit. Yeah, it did. So I can remove that from the selection. If I hold down the Option key, it'll take stuff out. I just kind of have to be careful here. There we go. Just kind of rub with this tool. Really handy tool. Now, of course, I'm going to just be satisfied with this right here. If you're doing this for real, you'd want to zoom in and make sure that you got exactly the selection that you want, and make sure the edge isn't too harsh. Like, see, I missed something right there. Let me hold down the shift key to add. Oops. Option key rather. Okay. All right. So I've made my selection, and what I want to do is delete this. I want a white background, and you'll notice that my image is a locked single background layer. So I've made my selection, and I need to switch from the quick selection tool to the four-headed arrow before I delete. Alright, so now I'm going to delete, and it gives me some options of what to fill the background with, and I want to fill it with white. And there we go. There's the image, and I can make the ants go away by doing Command D, and my image is done. You can see that how the edge is not perfect. You'd want to take more time and do a really good edge selection, but that's all Photoshop skills. Alright, now another thing I want to be sure to do, this image is going to go into an InDesign document, which most of the time means it's going to be printed on a printing press, like a magazine or a book. If that's the case, if it's not meant for electronics, if it's not an ebook, or if it's not for a website, you need the color mode to be CMYK. Currently this is RGB, and that's an electronic color mode for the web and for computers. But since this is going to be in an InDesign document, it's going to be for print, I need to change that. So I'll go to Image, Mode, and change it from RGB color to CMYK color. And it gives me a little warning. I'll click OK. Alright, now I want to save this as a particular kind of image. I'll do File, Save As, and I'll just call it Gator. I don't really want it to be a JPEG though. To maintain the highest quality, I'm going to save it as a TIFF file, TIFF. Sometimes the suffix is just TIF. Alright, and then I'll click Save. And then there are a couple of options that are good to do. LZW compression is a type of compression that does not get rid of information. It's a little bit better than having no compression, and I wouldn't go with either of these when you want a high resolution photo for printing. So this is what you want. And if it's going to be on a Mac, if you're working on a Mac and the printer is working on a Mac, you should have that selected. Otherwise, everything here is fine. So I just click OK, and I've saved that document. Alright, now I'm going to open InDesign, and let's see. Okay, I want to place this image. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that one. drag this down, drag that down, and then I'm going to place the image, File, Place, and then I look for the Gator image. There it is, Gator TIFF. Alright, click Open, and here my cursor is loaded with the image, so I click on the page, and there it is, and it's pretty big. Again, if I wanted it to be smaller, I would get the free transform tool and shrink it. Or if I wanted it to be bigger, I would do the opposite. Hold down the free transform, corner, hold down the Shift key and enlarge it with the free transform tool. Okay. I'm going to say that that's what I want. Now what I want is I want the text to wrap around this head, and it's not doing it. Also, I don't need the window this big. I can press and drag the window shade there to close it. Now notice that it didn't distort the alligator because I had the black arrow selected. If I had had free transform selected and done this, I distort the alligator. That's not what I want. So make sure, if you just want to close a window shade, that you're using the black arrow. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so I got that done. I can turn on text wrap for this, and I can do it up here. When I have an image box selected, then I have some text wrap options up here. By default, there is no text wrap. That would just simply wrap around the rectangle of the box, but I want it to wrap around this irregular shape. So what I really want is this, wrap around object shape. I'll click on that, but nothing happens. Okay, there's a reason. The object shape is still rectangular. I've got to have InDesign detect the edges. So I'm about to have InDesign detect edges, and that's done with something called a clipping path. If you can just imagine a pair of scissors clipping around here to clip the white off. That's what it means by clipping path. So I have the box selected. I go to Object at the top of my screen. I go down to Clipping Path. Okay. And I just click over here on Options, and I get this window, and I don't know what to do here. Type. It means what type of clipping path do I want? Well, the type that I want is this, Detect Edges. In fact, it's the only option I have. Detect Edges, and what that means is it will notice what's white, and it will detect the edges of the image, and I can click a preview there if I want to and see how it's going to wrap. Okay. Alright, now that looks good. That's kind of what I want. So I click OK, and there we go. And now the text is wrapping around the gator. And I know the gator's not just on top of it with a clear background, because if I move the gator, I can see that the text reflows. Okay. Now I may decide that this is too close and that I want that text wrap to be further out. Well, I can do that. I can alter that, but I need a window that I don't currently have. I need the text wrap window to do that. So even though I'm able to do this here, if I want more control, I'm going to need the text wrap window. So I go up to Window, Text Wrap, and here's my text wrap window right here. Okay, right there. And the object shape is currently 0. If I just click on the up arrow, it's going to increase that distance. See that little blue line right there? I can click on it again, and there we go. I think I like that. I like that. Now I could say, well, I don't really want any down here. I just want it to stop right there. I can actually play with this. This is a path. It's a vector path, and I can play with it. I can get the white arrow and see all these little dots. With the white arrow, I can select those dots and drag them out, drag them down. I could even, with the pen tool, the delete an anchor point tool, I could delete these points. So this is a vector path. This clipping path is a vector path that you can alter and move around as you need to. Because I just got too many points right here. Okay, and then I can maybe take this one, select it, and move it. Oops. Select that one maybe and move it over here. And move that there, and there I go. So I got exactly what I want right there. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do a clipping path and have something wrap around an irregular photograph like that in InDesign.